It became quite obvious to me that's where I need to go. The issue may be that it doesn't seem like the castle is really on the ground floor. But I guess I couldn't expect less while reading its name. The Wawel Hill. It's 7:30 a.m. and life in the city already started. As usual, I thought I can make it better. I thought I'll wake up 5 a.m., have a coffee and a shower, and leave at 6 a.m. But I didn't. Also, I arrived to Kraków later than I thought. Well, I guess we'll see what happens. Which way shall I go now? Give me the maps. Like a click more. And when it comes to plans, there is something like weather forecast, and it turns out I can't even read it. Apparently it's going to be 18 degrees today, which sounds reasonable, so I wore my shirt, as you can see. But it's 7 a.m. and there's only 5 degrees. I'm freezing and I have nothing on me. But at least my journey was fine. I mean, Julian slept for most of the trip, which is like 500 kilometers. So it gives me some hopes, you know, that I will be able to travel with him more. He's never been that far away from home, and he's fine with it. That's just lovely. So, let's go to the city center and let's see what we can find. There's something interesting in there. I don't know if it's just me, if I'm lucky or something, but everywhere I move, and I arrived yesterday's evening, everywhere I move, there's a nice sidewalk in front of me. As you can see, it doesn't even shake. I'm currently by the arena, by the stadium. Sadly, it's not the one that Hans Zimmer plays in, but this will do. I swear there is a tarmac and asphalt everywhere. The sidewalks are flat. I don't know if I mentioned it already, but my hotel is like 2.5 kilometers away from the city center, the city square. And doing that 2.5 kilometers in such a lovely condition on a smooth sidewalk like that, it's just a lovely experience. I could do it every day. Around 800,000 people live in Kraków, but every year almost 15 million people arrive to the city, which is roughly 20 times its population. In busy summer days, they can outnumber the city population. The largest group of tourists comes from the United Kingdom. Why are there people running here? They're making me sad. Now, around the world, British are often imagined as dignified people, spreading their posh accent, wearing tuxedos, crowns, saying all those weird words with the ability to insult someone without him even knowing that he's being insulted, carrying an umbrella and quoting Shakespeare. But in this city, the reality is slightly different. Many of those same polite British gentlemen arrive here for very specific cultural activity: partying and drinking. And after a few hours of drinking, the empire tends to look a little less aristocratic. But as far as I've heard, only locals having an issue with that. City itself is perfectly fine with hosting those, especially with them leaving the Queen's pounds, quids, King's ones. Yes, I'm sorry for that. Tourism in Kraków is a massive part of economy. Every year, the city earns 7.5 billion zloty, which is 1.7 billion euro. That's a massive amount of money. Oh, dear Lord. F me. Jesus. it became quite obvious to me that's where I need to go. The other problem I just noticed is I don't really see how can I get down there. There are no ramps. I can see steps only. And the only ramps are these ones. Not really using it. And I'm not really using Lone either. I don't really trust those dogs. I guess it's time for round 2. Welcome to Kraków. Oh, the city's so old that they do have a dragon bones hanging by the cathedral. The city of kings. The city of legends. Probably the only city in the world where the solution for a dragon problem was a weaponized sheep. Jesus. There's still a mile to go. I swear I'm gonna have a heart attack. Oh my god, I hate this city so much. No, I'm fine, thank you. Oh my god. I hate the city already. And the ramp ends up with steps. Fuck me sideways. Luckily for me, as a disabled person, I can pick those steps or these ones. Excuse me, do you work here? Do you work here?
I'm working as a guide.
All right. There's probably another entrance for disabled people, right? The wheelchair, because this one ends with steps, right?
Yes, the other entrance on the wall is from the south side.
Lovely. So I picked the wrong one.
You go over there.
Yeah.
It's behind the tower.
All right.
Excellent.
All right. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it. A bit of a wheelchair POV to show you the surface, which is surprisingly good. I was expecting an old cobblestone, you know? But this one's impressive. Well, let's find some views. Alrighty then, a quick history lesson. This is Wawel Hill. For 1,000 years, it was a heart of Poland. Kings lived here, kings ruled here, and kings were buried here. But Kraków being Kraków, there's literally a dragon cave underneath us right now. It's apparently medieval urban planning was a bit different. Long before the famous castle appeared, it was already a strategic place for 100,000 years. Archaeologists found some people remnants from here that were 100,000 years old. Can you imagine? So when you stand or sit, in my case, in here, you're not just looking at the castle, you're standing on one of the oldest, continuously important places in Europe. The first fortified settlement on Wawel dates back to like 9th century, surrounded by huge 10 to 12 meters tall and several meters thickness earth and wood ramparts, protected by Vistula River cliffs. The river goes like 30 meters below us now. By the 10th century, when Piast dynasty was forming Poland as we know right now, Wawel became one of their most important centers. In the early Middle Ages, Kraków was effectively a capital of Poland, and Wawel was its fortified heart. 10 centuries ago, stone defensive walls appear. 3 centuries later, Gothic castle begins to form. And a bit later, Kazimierz Wielki, Casimir the Great, let's say, one of the greatest Polish kings, if not the greatest one, he reconstructed it, and that's when Wawel started looking like today. Enough history, let's check some views. All right, let's go. Let's use the steps because I actually need to go there this way more than the other. There's no grip on those steps. I mean, on the ledge of those steps. So it's quite hard. Either I'm gonna burn my hands or I'll kill someone. Many people. I'm gonna make them bowling today. I can barely fit into those stones. Excuse me, guys. Sorry. Excuse me, sir. A bit. Thank you. Excuse me. Cheers. Oh. Uh-oh. Ah. Attention, everyone. Excuse me. Because you're gonna f***ing die. I'm sorry. Excuse me, sir. Sir. Sir, excuse me. Oh my f***ing god. It hurts. Ah. Right underneath the castle hill, there's a place called Smoczajama, a dragon cave. And exactly as the name suggests, that's the place where dragon lived. Now, medieval Kraków had a bit of a problem. A large, fire-breathing reptile had apparently taken the residence under the royal hill. And as usually with the dragons, he needed food. He did not mind sheep, he did not mind cattle, he did not mind people. Obviously, the king at the time decided something had to be done with it. Knights were sent. Warriors were sent. Some various heroic individuals were sent. Everyone tried their luck, and every single one of them failed, right? But then, a true hero arrived, a shoemaker. His idea was brilliantly simple. Instead of fighting the dragon, he built a trap. He stuffed the sheep with the sulfur. He left it outside and waited. Eventually, dragon ate the sheep. Little that he knew, the sulfur will make him thirsty. These dragons, as we all know, they are not very smart. So he ran down the river and started drinking, 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 until it eventually explodes. Burst. Here, the end of the story. And to this day, just outside the cave, a metal dragon still stands by the river, breathing fire. Just to remind future generations not to eat everything you will find on the street, or you will die in pain. I think I've picked the worst possible option for a disabled person to reach the city square. Some of those stones are milled, and I'm fine with it, except they've milled it and they've put a thingy in here, so I can't even use it. What the oh my Jesus. Now we'll end up with a concussion, I swear. Oh my god, I'm done. Oh, alright, it was worth it. The views were worth it, but Jesus, this f***ing sidewalk. That's just bad. Why would they leave it in such a condition? They literally earn 1.7 billion euro per year from people like me. They probably spend hundreds of thousands on this dildo thingy sticking off the ground, and they couldn't fix the sidewalk around it. So I guess I'm not seeing this one from close. Near the city square, near the main city square, there's a restaurant called Black Duck. The main entrance isn't really accessible. There's a step, and step is fine, but the doors are too narrow, you know? But there is a back door. Just around the corner, you can get from the back. Let me show it to you. And I'm going to eat something. Oh my god, kind of bumpy, but I don't mind. First one, they have really nice reviews, and that's what everyone likes, right? There is an additional factor as well, and in my case, it's called the price. Let's just stuff ourselves. I guess it's my turn for the kid now. So the only views I can provide right now are these ones. With if you can hear the music playing in the background, I'll tell you the story about it in a sec. This is happening on the top of the tower. Shall we see the church as well? Oh dear Lord, that's impressive. Oh my god. And what's most important, the cathedral is free to enter for disabled people. That's right. Let me show it to you. Forgive my limited ability to record it now. It turns out I have to visit it once again because we totally forgot his mother is not with us. So we're acting like we see it for the first time. Yeah? Okay. I think she knows. I should have bought myself better shades. Yes. War, plague, and very poor dentistry. But in this part of Europe, people also believe there's another problem: vampires. So occasionally, when someone died in suspicious circumstances, the villagers they took precautions. In the Krakow area, archaeologists discovered graves where people were buried with the knives by their throats, you know? The idea itself was very simple. If the corpse wakes up, wants to sit up, the knife will take his head off, right? And sometimes even they were putting padlocks on the feet to stop the corpse from going out. And occasionally, just occasionally, a piece of stone, or just a stone itself, in the mouth to stop the dead one from biting. So, just in case, Dracula, you can off. You have no power here. Ah, bloody castle. People are so slow, ridiculous. Oh, yeah, that's way better. Oh, this one's uphill. That's just bad. Oh dear Lord, people are literally everywhere. I'm one of them, so I can't really complain. Yeah. Here, have a look. Enjoy it. It's Kraków day 3. On Friday I arrived really late. It was dark already, so I couldn't record. Yesterday I started around 7 a.m. But in the evening I had a Hans Zimmer concert. There was a bit of a f***ery. The concert was great. Actually, let me show it to you. There are so many things I still wanted to show you in Kraków, like just literally incredible amount of things. But I'm running out of time. The city is a lovely place. What's most important for me, roads and sidewalks are pretty good. I mean, I couldn't complain on it. It's not Austria, Vienna level, but it's still good enough, I would say. Except of some parts, but that's obvious. So I started by the hill, by the Wawel hill, just behind me, right? Actually, quite interesting story. The city is full of those interesting stories, you know? I bet you've heard about the curse of Tutankhamun, right? Like you opening the tomb and suddenly everyone around dies. It turns out you don't need to go Egypt to experience the same. In here, very few people realize that Poland has its own Tutankhamun story, except it's Kazimier's story. Kazimierz IV, to be precise. So basically his crypt was sealed from 1492. No one opened it for like nearly 500 years. And on the 19th of May 1973, the tomb was officially opened. But it turns out that researchers peeked inside a bit before, on April, which happens to be Friday, 13th of April. And then something rather unsettling happened. Over the next decade, 19 of those scientists that had been the closest to the crypt died. I won't even start explaining the, scientific part about it, because it's boring. It's just not important. This is the city of legends, and legends are way better. So I'm kind of disappointed. I thought I can do more, to show you more, because this city is truly beautiful, hides millions of secrets. Sadly, I have no time to go there, but just a few minutes away, there is a museum in which they're having that lady with a fox or whatever painting by Leonardo da Vinci. I just randomly forgot the animal name. Forgive me that. It's E something. Not googling that. And when it comes to Kraków, it has a massive piece of art. You remember that Basilica yesterday? That wooden altar piece was made entirely by Wittstwosz, created in the late 15th century. A truly enormous piece of art, an altar piece. It's 13 meters tall. It's carved entirely from lime wood. It took him over a decade to complete it. Those figures inside are 3 meters tall. Obviously, during World War II, Germans stole it, but we have it back. In there, high above Wawel Hill, in the Wawel Cathedral, hangs something very impressive. It's Zygmunt's bell. It was cast in 1520 for the Polish king Zygmunt the Old. Just another enormous thing. It weighs 13 tons, which means ringing it isn't really a one-person's job. In fact, it takes 12 people to start it. I'm not going there to show it to you. First, it's up the stairs. Second, it's up the hill. And I'm not doing it again. I mean, theoretically I could, but it would take me like 30-40 minutes. And I would block the staircase, right? Not happening. Kraków has one of the oldest universities in the world. Found in 1364, the Jagiellonian University is like 12th on the list, if I remember correctly. One of its students was Nicholas Copernicus, or as we call him, Mikołaj Kopernik. The man that eventually decided that the Earth is not, in fact, center of the universe. Which, if you think about it, is quite an idea to express sitting in the hall of medieval university. Just imagine how radical that idea was. His famous book about it was published in 1543, and he received a copy of it for the first time on the day of his death. But in the 16th century, saying that Earth is not the center of the universe had serious implications, you know? First, it contradicted the dominant Aristotle cosmology, you know? And some people also believed that it conflicted the Bible. About 70 years later, after his death, the Catholic Church started to react. It was a heresy, right? The church placed it in the index of forbidden books. And there's a funny connection between Mikołaj Copernic and Galileo of Galilee. So Copernicus didn't have a powerful enough telescope to prove his theory. His proof was pure mathematical, right? And about 70 years later, the Galileo started observing the universe with a powerful telescope. And he found proof of Copernican model. And this was really inconvenient for the old model, in which Earth sat perfectly at the center of the universe. In 1633, Galileo's famous Inquisition trial started, and after an investigation and questioning, he was forced to admit and publicly declare that Earth is a center of the universe, which he did. And as he stood up afterwards, he added, "Eppur si muove, and yet it moves." And that's probably the greatest mic drop in history. After the trial, he spent the rest of his life, Galileo, he spent the rest of his life in house arrest. So, theoretically and technically, Kazimierz Wielki, founding the university, started a chain reaction in which Nicholas Copernicus wrote his book, and Galileo was sentenced by the Inquisition in Italy, which is probably not what he expected, signing the paperwork, right? Let's finish today's episode on the city square. Let's go. Kraków was the capital of Poland for about 500 years, and high above its main square, there's a St. Mary's Basilica. That's the one. Main square, Rynek Główny, is one of the largest ones in Europe, and it's been like that for 8 centuries. Every single hour, on top of the tower, that you can't see because I couldn't find the angle, a trumpeter appears. And he plays the music that he's not finishing. And there's a nice little story about it as well. This dates back to 1241, when Mongol armies swept across the Europe, this part of the continent, destroying cities, defeating armies. They were just unstoppable. And on that date, a watchman spotted an army, and he started alarming city with his trumpet. But before he was able to finish the melody, a Mongol army hit him in a throat. And so, to this day, this melody stops when his life did. But if you think about it, it's rather dramatic way to tell time, right? We have smartphones now. Another legend, those 2 towers of Basilica, they are built on different height. One is like 80 meters and the other one is 69. And the legend says there were 2 brothers building the Basilica, and at some point it started to be a competition for them. One of the brothers didn't like losing that much, so he took a knife just to be sure he will win the race. When that happened, he finished the building, he took the knife and hung it in here, in Sukiennice. Then he returned to his tower just to check if gravity still works. And as usual, historians' versions are different, boring ones. They say the towers were built in different times. They say that they serve different purposes. But I don't care what they say. Over the centuries, city slowly rose higher and higher. Every time city suffered from floods, wars, fires, people rebuilt directly on top. Instead of clearing everything out, they simply leveled the ground to build directly on top. And after hundreds of years, the original medieval streets ended up being some meters below us. And when the massive excavation started in this area, archaeologists uncovered enormous amount of preserved medieval infrastructure. Literally a city under the city. Because in the Middle Ages, this area was literally a market, a commercial heart of Europe. So now it all lays beneath our feet, wheels, tires. Several meters below us, there is one of the largest archaeological museums built directly on the excavation site. It's like walking through the skeleton of a city. Sadly, I'm not going there. I have no time. Kraków, when it comes to its history, released many brilliant people. In 1930, Marian Rajewski, with some other Polish mathematicians, they broke the German Enigma cipher. So I guess, both Germans, we won this one. Roman Polanski spent his childhood in here, in Kraków, just to become one of the most famous film directors. But we are only proud of some of his doings. A mathematician, born here in Kraków, later moved to United States. Stanisław Ulam. He became one of the key scientists in the Manhattan Project. So I guess, I'm sorry Japan, we love you, right? Karol Olszewski, in 1880, he liquefied oxygen and nitrogen, which is literally the base of cryogenics. Joseph Conrad, one of the greatest English novelists, studied in here. Same for Rudolf Weigel. He developed the first effective vaccine for typhus, a disease that killed millions in Europe. Quite a resume, right? For more than 1,000 years, people stood on this land. Kings, knights, scholars, soldiers, oh, and shoemakers. Some fought dragons, some stared at the stars, and some even moved the solar system. This is an extraordinary achievement for the city in southern Poland.